Long distance relationships. Do you believe they work and why? A long distance relationship is a romantic relationship between two people who live far apart and so are unable to meet on a frequent basis. Dr. Sam,
Sounds
you
about
can
right.
continue.
Well, if that's the definition we're working off, then that's how the debate has to continue. So if we're married, excuse the pun, to that definition, let's proceed along that line, because there are many long-distance relationships that are not romantic in nature.
Okay.
Okay, but that's great. I mean, now we have a
So,
definition, and that sets the platform for a lively debate or a lively conversation.
Great. So raise your hands. If you can see on the right-hand side, there is a little toggle saying raise hand. Once you click on that, it will populate onto the little table, and then you can share your thoughts. Or I will pick on a few people that are that I know are you know, they're good thinkers, they're logical, they're rational, and sometimes they just want to be quiet for a while others talk. So let's start with Omega Alexi. Omega Alexi, you're getting the megaphone now, and you can share your thoughts.
Hi guys, it's Alexi here. So my opinion, I think in order to form a relationship in the first place, you need to know that person prior to, uh, how should I say, it evolving into something long distance. A lot of people hide things, I would say body language, secrets, etc. And those are things you can't really determine unless maybe you know the person through somebody else. But if it's a complete stranger, I'd say, yeah, it's a bit tough to to gain somebody's trust in a space like this, which is virtual in essence, and so people can sort of create this artificial relationship, which uh, may be difficult to fully understand without previously having met with them in person.
Okay, thanks,
yeah,
I mean,
Alexi.
I
that
can
definitely
carry.
plays a major factor.
I mean, I can carry on if no one else has anything else to say.
Fake Ravens, I'd like to hear what you have to say.
Oh, okay, all right. Um, just on the topic of long distance, there's the multitude of what, a human bond, a human relationship can be, and it's most definitely about what can or will be about that relationship. Say, if I am looking for, a, let's say, monogamous romantic relationship, and I can form that bond verbally, then maybe a long distance relationship would be just as viable as a close relationship. You know, if I am, you know, a if I communicate in a different way and show my intentions in a more physical way, maybe that means a long distance relationship works. It doesn't work. But if I am going under the expectation that distance does not affect that, then it will never work. Because that is the expectation. I have many friends online and in real life, and I often consider myself more close to my virtual friends because of the, you could say, anonymity we have between them. The bond we have between us is a different flavor of the ones I have to my close friends, right? And I have set the expectation of what that relationship will be and what will come out of it, right? I can communicate verbally and form X bond, and then I can communicate physically with my facial expressions, with my body language in a physical environment in a different way and have a different relationship. So if we're talking about just plain old monogamy, we still got to, first of all, define the relationship. Second of all, what's the difference between us just making a quick handshake saying we don't, you know, symbolize anyone else in a relationship at the same time, you know, if not physical, You know, what's the difference between us being best buddies and not being best buddies with anyone else? It's all about the relationship.
Cool. So I'm going to, okay, just thanks, Fake Ravens. Future Queen, your thoughts?
My thoughts. Well, the long distance relationships I've seen in person as examples hasn't worked. There's been one that's happened recently between my friends. One of them moved away, and in the end, they broke up and both started sleeping with other people locally. I think, in terms of romantic or sexual relationships, you need that physical interaction, which you don't quite get online or. Yeah.
All right. Cool. Thanks. All right, Ali, you want to share your thoughts?
Yeah, just to add to Future Queen, it is actually very difficult being in a long distance relationship for the reason that you don't get to see the other person. There are a lot of challenges, and it's not the same. Humans crave physical interaction, and as much as technology may progressing, I think it still lacks, and I actually even doubt that it would get to the same levels of physical interaction. I mean, you want to give somebody a hug, right? I mean, the feeling isn't the same.
I have to agree.
What's
on
your
pretty
opinion?
much
Yeah.
on
Let's
yeah,
hear your
okay,
opinion.
so I'll share my opinion. So with long distance relationships, the thing is that we are going through a lot of distractions in life. We have a lot of interests. We have a lot of commonalities that we are expecting from others. And nowadays, with the wealth of information and the abundance of the era of the internet, and it's so many interests coming by and distractions, that it's very difficult to find commonality within somebody where you can actually be close to them. And I think that, I'll give you an example. The last 5 relationships I've had, I've met all online, because it's very difficult to meet people nowadays, especially 2020. But before that, where would you meet people? You don't just rock up and meet strangers and say, do you want to start dating? You go to a club and they're mostly drunk. You go to other events and you can't just introduce themselves. But on an internet, there is less of an invasive way to get to know people. You can see what their interests are, their commonalities, and then you can start talking on that level. So my thoughts is that long distance relationship works absolutely in the beginning, because you find someone who you can relate to. You get to know them on new levels, where all of a sudden the infatuation stage and the sex aspect and all that is taken out, which most of the times clouds judgment within the person that you feel for. So when you get into physical relationships, you fall in love with the idea of love itself, because sex is just fucking great, right? And you just think that is all you need in a relationship. But when you are forced to be apart, all of a sudden you got to start questioning. You have to start coming to terms with that. You've got to get to know the person. And if you can grow on that emotional and intellectual connection, the physical aspect will be absolutely perfect when you do eventually meet, because you have connected on that mental level. And I mean, you can find anyone pretty nowadays, and you can find anyone to have sex with. You can find a prostitute to fall in love with. But how do you know that that relationship will continue and deepen with in time? And you can only find that by looking for people that you want to get along with. So before, in the olden days, the old wives' tale is opposites attract. The conservative is attracted to the wild one, and the immature is attracted to the mature, and the good guy is attracted to the bad boy. You know what I mean? But now things are changing, because if you're going to be in a relationship long term, you've got to find that commonality where you can go and enjoy the things together that you enjoy, and won't irritate you to that extent. So I believe that long distances relationships definitely work, because the relationship is in the eye of the beholder. It's all within your realms. It is not on other external influences. If you have friends and family that are trying to coerce you out of the relationship, you now have triangulation and external influences that are damaging to the relationship. So it's got to be between you and the person, come to agreements and balance and equilibrium within that relationship, and then build on it on a day-to-day basis without looking too far into the future on a reverie or a dream of a relationship to be. So that's my thoughts. I would like to hear from old stock. Your thoughts.
Hello.
Hello, welcome.
Hey, how's it going? My thoughts.
You just muted yourself, old stock. Just unmute yourself. Okay, we'll get back to you very shortly. Does anyone else have anything to say? And then old stock, just let me know, or raise your hand, and then I'll be able to put the megaphone on you again. Just wave your hand. Oh, there you are. All right, yeah, Mr. Mohawk. Just raise your hand so that we can hear your thoughts as well. And anyone else before we move to the second question of the day? Ali, can you hear me? Let me just switch off my megaphone. Sorry.
Can you hear me now?
All right. Can someone just say something? Okay, yeah. All right. So you're working. Old stock, you need to just raise your hand.
Can you hear me? No.
Let me. Yeah, I can hear you, Ali.
Ali, we can hear you clearly. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Okay.
It's old stock that we can't hear.
Old stock, I'm giving the megaphone now.
The host has muted the audience. That was the. Can you hear me now?
Yes, very clear. Thank you.
Hey, nice one. Yeah, a sign came up. The host has muted the audience. Don't know what that's about. Apologies. Yeah, I'll answer quick. Long distance relationships. No, they don't work for the reason you gave. No sex. That's a bummer. And no matter who is on the other end of the phone and how much you can have conversation and how good the communication is, yada yada, eventually it's not your girlfriend or your boyfriend calling and texting. It's just your phone going off again. It's just your phone annoying you once more again. It turns into that very quickly. Without the personal connection, nah, doesn't work. Not for an intimate relationship, which I presume.
Can I give you a rebuttal and just ask you, old stock, what if
it
starts off as a long-term distance relationship where you've met somebody overseas and you plan to change that? So you started off as a long-term distance relationship and then you rectified that issue.
Yeah, I've never found myself in the situation, so I can't. Yeah, I can see how that's feasible. I mean, like you, I met my current partner online, but she only lived an hour away, so I knew there was a strong potential of, meeting her. So I don't know, like personally, I couldn't see myself getting into that sort of long distance relationship online, but never say never, man. So yeah, I can't give you a reply to that at the moment.
All right, awesome.
That's a fair point.
Does anyone else have anything to say? Yeah, Ali.
Sorry, so basically, just to back up what you said, it depends on the incentive that you have for the future, right? If there is a potential of meeting up in the future, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just confirming as well. Okay.
All right. Let's go to Scott. Scott, the megaphone will be yours.
Hello, I believe I have the audio now.
Yes.
I thought I would add my experience. I wouldn't have my marriage today without it first being a long distance. I met my wife online because I had some trouble in relationships. So what online kind of brought to the table was like, I'd like to meet anybody anywhere in the whole entire world. And so that was a unique way to approach relationships that really only existed in the last like 20, 30 years or so. And I'm grateful for that. But we did have a long distance relationship for a period of about a year and a half. And I want to say for me, I don't know that without the evolution of being together physically, I don't know how it would have went for me, but I think we need to remain open to other people's states of mind because although it's not as common, like some people are truly asexual and they don't really need like physical contact or maybe even don't like physical contact. And I think a state of mind like that might work well in a long distance relationship indefinitely. And you know, any way people connect in a loving and kind way, I just totally support it, no matter like how it works for that individual.
So we have an example of how of a long distance relationship that worked out. And do you ever ask the question, if you didn't have a long distance relationship, do you think it would have been better for you?
No, because my personality type, I have a very high degree of social anxiety. It's very difficult for me to get to know new people in a short time frame. So like the safe distance of a virtual relationship really helped me to feel safe that I would be in good hands. I tend to get previously, I tend to get into a lot of enablement situations because I don't know how to set boundaries. So I learned from my new partner, like she respects people's boundaries. So like it's easier to interact without feeling, you know, it's going into an unhealthy territory. And like we click in ways I never even knew like people could click together. It's just been wonderful.
Thanks, Scott. So you can see that, you know, this is all determined, this is all subjective, and it's all based on preference. And for example, with Scott's idea of him being a bit more conservative, is that when he's online, he's able to be more of himself towards people, and he's able to open up more. And a lot of people are great by nature, but if you have that social anxiety and you have you know, you're constantly thinking, you know, do I look okay? Am I sounding okay? Am I speaking okay? When you have too many of those questions, you are distracting yourself from yourself, and then the person is picking up on those bad signals. So I think 100% that we're saying is that the internet and social media and even alt space, it's less invasive, it's safer. I'm sure a lot of people here are not wearing pants, and yet they are speaking as confidently as they would ever be here in alt space. There we go. So we got X Lad who's not wearing pants. So let's move to the next person, which is X Lad. Megaphone is yours.
Yeah, I don't, on topic here, I don't believe that they work. I totally understand this gentleman's viewpoint of being some kind of socially unenabled because of certain things. I have never been like that. I don't even agree with the statement that you made of you could be yourself. You could be yourself 24/7. The only person that's stopping you is yourself. And the only thing that's ever stopping you is yourself and your own mind. So you need to always be confident in every single one of your actions, no matter if you're right or you're wrong. And when you're wrong, realize you're wrong and realize how you could have been right. You can't I know a lot of people have mental crutches or physical crutches or different things that they, obstacles, will say, that get in your way. I found personally the only way to get through any kind of obstacle is to look myself dead in the face and say, you can do it. You know, I don't care how I sound. You know, you're gonna love me for me and when I sound good and when I sound bad, and you're gonna love me for all the other quirky things that are about me or not about me, or you know, you're just you can't make any compromises when it comes to yourself, and the right people will come into your life and stay in your life and like you for who you are, rather than trying to impress somebody or you know, I'm like I said, I'm just me. You approach me, you get the same me every single time, regardless of who you are. You could be a cop, you could be a preacher, you could be the grocery lady. If I'm pissed off, I'm gonna tell all those three people to fuck off. Excuse my French, but it's that's just how it's going down. You know, but I don't suffer from any kind of anxieties or anything. I jump on the stage and I own it. You know, I'm a lead singer in a band. I've done acting. I've done singing on stage. You know, and I'm a ham for the spotlight. I like it when people are looking at me. I like the attention. I'm not like an attention whore, but I'm more of a class clown. I want to get your attention so I can make you laugh, so I can make you smile, so I can make you live a little bit longer, maybe forget about the pains of the world that we live in, you know. That's what I feel inside is my drive to give to this world is just humor and common sense and sensibility. Like if somebody doesn't know how to do something or you don't know how to get through something, there's of course people to talk to, but there's always you. You know, don't ever cut yourself short and tell yourself you can't do something. The second you say you can't do something, you've already failed at it. You haven't even given yourself the benefit of the doubt or the chance. Remember, a coin has two sides, and the least you can do is take that coin and flip it in the air. And you got two sides, right? Heads, tails. Heads, it works. Tails, it doesn't. Flip the coin at least. At least give it a chance. At least give it a shot.
Right. Excellent. This is a process that a lot of people need to go through because I've picked up, and I don't know you from a bar of soap, that you're an extrovert. You've got your band, you've got your acting. You've been through the process to get yourself into the limelight, and now you are living inside the box of an extrovert. To go through different upbringing and different ways of interaction, and those who have social anxiety have a lot of demons inside that they need to get rid of in order to embrace themselves into that extrovertedness in life. So it's sometimes the step out of the comfort zone is by interacting on small levels on Facebook, meeting a stranger. That is something that someone's never done before. And I personally know in South Africa a lot of people who cannot even send a message on a wall. And then they get to know, as they get to know people, they start opening up more, and then it opens up more opportunities. And before they know it, they're on Old Space sharing their story, just like Scott, who's probably very proud of himself in the relationship that he's in, how it established. But empathy is where you've got to consider yourself and say, all right, I'm an extrovert. I'm outgoing. I'm totally not shy, and I want everybody to see me. Step out of your own shoes and see maybe there's someone who is not even near that level yet, but they are striving towards it. And but yeah, I think that's another topic for another day. But awesome for you to be here. Awesome to hear the confidence, and good luck with all of that. Hope you're going to be showing some events with all of your skills and talents, and people will, the people will come to you. They feed off the energy.
I just want to help. Yeah, I mean, and that's why I said the bit about like you said, demons and whatnot. Like and that's all that's all inside. Like your turmoil, your challenges, and some people need help with that. Like other people to assist them to exercise those demons. I was just trying to put it out there that like, at the end of the day, I live in the country. I hate people, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I just want to, if I could, I would install my confidence in whoever was unconfident in their decisions. I just want to say that
platform to do it.
Yeah, and I just want to say that everybody's beautiful. Everybody's a fucking beautiful individual, whether they may think it about themselves or not. And I feel like it's very important to stress that to people, and people need to hear that from another person, a complete stranger, that, oh, thanks, bud, that they don't know. You know, I don't know any of these people, but everybody here is a beautiful individual. And I'm sure that every single one of them is capable of anything, you know,
Yeah.
whether
Cool.
they think it or not.
Thanks, Exlat. We're going to move to the next person. That is Tomo. Feel free to share your thoughts, ideas. Do they work or don't they, and why? Super quiet. You've got the megaphone, but you're super quiet. Just move your mouth closer to the microphone.
Okay, is that any better?
Little better, yeah.
One, two, one, two.
Cool.
I'll try and come back to me in a second. I'll see if I can change my mic.
No, it's all good. We can all hear you. Show some emojis.
Okay. There's a book called The Selfish Gene, and basically it said the driving force between in all life is that we are in fact a big cluster of thousands of genes all trying to get into the future and cooperating that way. So when it comes down to long distance relationships, if the purpose of our existence is to inquire eternally into new and better things, and if that quest to ever become smarter and better organisms, then if you preclude the ability to mate, that is sexual reproduction, then you're going to be defeated. The system will not reward you so much. Now, it's fine if you're talking about relationships where one person's talking about, paleontology, or talking about,
we lost you, Tomo. Sorry. Let's just go to... let me just put the megaphone on you again. Let's see.
Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2. Is that any...
All right, there we go. You're back.
Okay. Is it okay?
Yeah.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Where did you lose me?
Paleontology.
Okay, so if for example you're doing non-partnering things, non-sexual relationships, then you're not going to fall afoul of the grand drive of our genes to mix together and try and come up with better human beings, and it may be fine. You'll get friends online who will talk about paleontology or lung health, whatever it is, and that will satisfy the quest, the grand quest of the universe and purpose of life, of all life, and it won't punish you. But I think from my experience of long-distance relationships between me and women, they have been fraught with problems and tended to fail. That's all I'm saying.
Cool, thanks. We're now going to go to the final one. We have Marshmallow, and if anyone else has anything to say before we move to the next dilemma, the deep one, then feel free to raise your hand still. Marshall, it's yours.
Yeah, I believe I would add a word to this question, which is, do you believe they can work, and why? I don't think it's given that they do work. I think it takes a lot of effort. Key points being openness, honesty. I also think maybe people believe that a long distance relationship means no kind of meeting physically, which isn't true. You can arrange to do that, and I think it's extremely important. So I think it's a huge question, let alone defining what defines work. What criteria does it have to meet in order to be defined as work? But I think the thing is there's a large checklist of things that you need to do and accomplish in order for it to work. So again, communication frequently, each other, getting to know each other's family and wider world. Obviously, meeting up together, you can still do that. You can plan a vacation or a trip or something to meet up once every couple of months or whenever is practical. And obviously, succeeding all these things at work, and you find that you work together, then it can work. But that's the key thing: is it's not as black and white as do they work. It's can they work? The answer to that, I believe, is yes, because there are many people, I know them personally, who have been in long distance relationships and they're happily married for years and they've got a family and everything's brilliant. Then again, I know people who've attempted it and failed, not necessarily because they did anything wrong, it's just they weren't compatible after getting to know each other. So that's the key thing: is can they work? Yes, given you hit certain checkpoints, I think.
Ali, final thoughts for this dilemma? Just unmute yourself.
Final thoughts. Yeah, depending on the intention that everybody has, and it's up to you to give it a try, basically.
Cool. So now with the moral dilemma, we have 3 dilemmas. We have a quickie. This is called a quickie. All right. Then we have the deep dilemma, which is what we're going to go through now. And then we have your dilemma, which if you have a dilemma right now in your life or someone that you know and you would like to discuss it, that is what this platform is about, where we can all help and discuss and maybe share some thoughts. So let's move to the next dilemma. Okay.
Okay.
Ali.
I'll have the honor, yeah. So, 2 low-income people fall in love. They live in different countries and they know they'll never be able to afford to see each other. Should the relationship continue? Similar to the previous one, with a few differences.
Okay, cool. Ali, you want to start it off?
No, I'd like to hear the opinions first, actually. I don't want to give it
Okay.
away right away.
Cool, cool. So now,
So, who's going
just
first? Let's see the hands.
raise your hands and let's hear what you have to say. I'll give you a couple of seconds. And I would like to hear from, all right, let's start. Dr. Sam, just unmute yourself.
Timon, I think, I mean, this is a dilemma. This is a dilemma that probably that people are faced with in many parts of the world. And I think one has to be realistic. I think somebody mentioned the selfish gene, and the selfish gene by Richard Dawkins makes it quite clear that one of our purposes in life is to reproduce, and one of our greatest pleasures is reproduction. Apart from all the other factors of life, of having somebody who you love, you care for, you're intimate with. And I think one needs to be realistic and say, look, this relationship, as much as we care for each other, as much as we believe that there is a chemistry, there is no point in continuing this relationship, as we're not going to achieve our actual purpose on this planet. And I think they should move on, and that's my personal opinion. I think it's a terrible dilemma to be in. But I think it's a realistic dilemma that has occurred to many people in life. And they should move on and remain friends if it's possible.
Right. Okay, cool. Fake Ravens. Megaphone's yours.
Sorry, my hand went fast.
Looked cool from here. Mute yourself again, Fake Ravens. Let me do that. Yeah,
Cool.
megaphone's
Sorry,
yours.
it's been a while.
It's all right.
Right. So, just on this question, I'm just gonna go off, basic anecdotal evidence. Whenever I've seen, or whenever you have seen a relationship start long distance, especially overseas, and especially with 2 low-income people, what is the intent? The intent is, to continue the relationship, to develop it, to be more intimate, to grow the relationship, and normally the end goal is to unite, right? To you know, further a relationship into a marital relationship to live with each other, to further the relationship into more present state. You know, any of these conclusions you want to bring upon the relationship, right? Like, you know, I want to go move to, you know, X to be with X, you know? But if there is a barrier on how much the relationship can grow, it is dependent on whether that is the goal of the relationship. If you got, you know, a solitary asexual, two solitary asexuals who feel their total romantic desires by sending good morning text messages, that cap is not a limit for them. Yet, if you desire the relationship more, and you can't achieve that, then you deny yourself for the relationship. You deny yourself a different relationship, a more fruitful relationship. And it you know, it's dependent on those two ideas. Whereas if I can grow, and if I can't, do I leave where it is or develop something else? You know, do I stop working on this project where I've, you know, hit a block and work on another? Do I develop another relationship? Or do I stay on this project even though there's a block? And it's truly dependent on if you're satisfied within that block. Like, for example, an asexual, isolationist is, you know, one who, you know, eats, you know, unbuttered toast in the morning and goes to bed on the floor. You know, no offense, but that seems like a very unfulfilled life to me. And I would not be comfortable with that barrier.
Great. Everyone hear me?
Yeah, great. Tim,
I
you here?
just wanted to thank Ravens.
All yours.
Thank Ravens. I think covered a lot of it here. I think one of the limitations of a question like this is there's a lot of assumptions that each of us bring to the table. You know, we can quantify the importance of our genetic offspring in this equation. Obviously, Dr. Sam is of the opinion that it is the ultimate purpose of existence. I would argue that point, but that's neither here nor there. For Dr. Sam, this would be a very simple dilemma to solve, and the answer would be no, they shouldn't. For others, as you've expressed, Raven, the limitations that this set of circumstances would impose on the relationship would be less of a challenge. I think it's possible to come up with a myriad number of potential solutions to this that would include the relationship continuing, even if it would not be satisfactory to the vast majority of us here. I think ultimately a question like this, where it seems what we've done is we've said that we will artificially constrain the solution set by saying that there is no potential for them to ever see each other, whether that's because of low income or because they are disabled and are unable to travel or whatever the constraints are. But I don't think it's possible to provide an answer to this dilemma without acknowledging that what we inherently assume and the biases that we bring, whether from anecdotal evidence or from our interpretations of the selfish gene theory, they prevent us from really understanding the complete solution set. So I think to answer the question, absolutely, it's possible for people to they should be able to answer this in the affirmative. You would probably be able to intuit that the overwhelming majority of people would do better to, as you say, start a new project. But even with that constraint, I mean, there's no reason to assume from this question and they work well together. And they know that that's the limitation of their relationship. So I think given the wording of this, yeah, I mean it's fairly straightforward to say that there are certainly conditions in which it would be valid.
Awesome. I'm going to add on and say, you know what? This dilemma should purely be based on the level of happiness that you have in your life. Because relationships they go through different levels. As I told you, if it's physical, you go through the infatuation, you go through the falling in love, you go through, getting to know everybody. And then it goes to the deeper level on trying to build a life. But sometimes in relationships, sometimes the person is there at the right time and the right place at the right part of where you are in life to help build and help grow and help teach you things where you're teaching each other lessons during that period where maybe a physical relationship is not what you exactly need right now. So you got to always balance it and always weigh it up on the level of happiness. And happiness is something that is overlooked very often because we are confined to the constructs of the society. We are confined to the constructs of what our family expect and our friends expect, rather than what do we want. So if you think about it, the future is untold. So yes, you can be poor, and yes, you can not be in the financial situation right now where you won't be seeing somebody. But what if things change? You have your life, and there are many beggars I've seen in the US, and today there are multimillionaires. So, you should never take yourself for granted. And if you want to make something happen, you will make it happen. If you want a long distance relationship to work, let it work for the time that it works. And it's actually something I was telling Ali yesterday. I said that the biggest quote that I've had with relationships my entire life is relationships work until they don't. And they can work either for a month, they can work either for a couple of years, or they can work until you die. Or they won't. So go with it, balance the good, the bad, the balance how you feel, the happiness, the unhappiness, and then base a decision on where you are in life. All right. Then I see Tomo, begotten, megaphone is, oh no, you just got out of it. Just raise your hand again, begotten, and then I'll put the megaphone on you. Oh, let me just see if you're there. Okay, there you are. I'm going to put the megaphone on you, begotten.
Hi there, absolutely. My point was made earlier, but I think you've absolutely hit the nail on the head with that one. The reason I put my hand down was because you said everything. Really, I completely agree. I think that's great. Just wanted to say that really. So yeah.
All right. Okay. Cool. Tomo, megaphone is yours.
Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just going to say.
Bit soft, but
okay.
We can hear you.
Once I had a heartbreak in Toronto, and I went to my next door neighbour, and he said, "Bruce, women are like buses. There'll be another one along in 5 minutes." Now, apologies to women present, but it was an amusing thing to say, and basically it says, don't focus as if there's only one person that'll ever be any good for you. There are lots of people. The Koreans have got a saying, "A thatched shoe has got a pair." I love that too. That's all I want to say.
When you were saying the next bus is always coming, I thought you were going to continue to say the next bus is always coming to knock you down. All right, thank you. Does anyone else have anything to say? Ali, we haven't heard from you.
My initial thought was it depends on the person's incentive again, what their goals are. If it works online 100%, then live it. Why not? Which is also coming back to what you said. Live day by day, enjoy every moment, and you never know what the future brings. There can be a twist in the plot, and things may work out.
Cool. And also, oh wait, old stock. Yes, megaphone's yours.
Thanks. No, I've been agreeing with everything you said. I kind of initially jumped towards the idea that, you know, if they're happy, who are we to say anything? And then I just had a thought that reinforces that. If we look at the question now, two low-income people, imagine we put faces and names up there right now. These two low-income people, these particular people are in a relationship. Should we have a discussion on their relationship? Our instinct, I think, would be, this is none of my business. If they're happy, they're okay. This is a bit much. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if that's a good thought. I don't know if that even makes. I'm just chucking it out there, man. I'm rambling. Sorry.
I mean, it's all subjective with the situation. So if you put two people up there, I could have put two beggars. I could have put two people that are completely disabled and will never see each other. I could have put two people who are blind, or one is blind and one is not. It's all. There are so many different scenarios that every single couple is completely different. And that's why, if there's one thing that we've got to do in 2020 and onwards, is that we got to stop conforming to the confines of society of what they expect, because the highest level of depression is now. The highest level of sadness is now, which means that we are taking advice from people who are fucking miserable in life. And that means that we should not be doing that. We should be asking ourselves what truly makes us happy.
Cool.
Then we have, thanks, Old Stock, Kalen Evo. Megaphone is yours.
I didn't mean to do that, but okay. I was just going to say...
challenge yourself.
We had, within our Evolver channel, we had a couple that met through, and they're on, different planets, different worlds, in our world, essentially. Met through our Evolver channel and had a very fulfilling relationship. And one of them recently passed away unexpectedly, and we had a beautiful, 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 beautiful virtual reality memorial funeral a couple weeks ago, and it was probably one of the most beautiful things. And what they did is they because they were far apart, they built an entire universe here in alt space. And so it was interesting. They built, like, they had their own house, their own worlds, their own land, anything they could imagine they built, and they built it over a year. And then when one of them died unexpectedly, that's where we held her memorial, and it was absolutely beautiful. So I think that this is a medium that we should use, and I don't think really income really should have any play in it. I don't understand what the dilemma is. Maybe I'm just not understanding the question. But anyway.
Okay. Thanks. I think that is one of the most beautiful stories I've heard in alt space since I've been here for about a year now. And that is that whether it was a couple, whether it was a friendship, they built their reality around what they wanted their reality to be. And nobody would be able to understand that other than those who integrate alt space or VR into their lives. Because you go, and this is our reality. We went to the Moral Dilemma event. Tomorrow you go to somebody who isn't on VR and they think you're crazy. There is no connection within it. And that's why it's all based on, it doesn't matter what other people are thinking. It doesn't matter what other people are doing. It just matters about, you want to be in places where you are appreciated and not tolerated, right? And this is where you're going to connect with people on new levels that you would not have within a radius of a couple of 1,000 kilometers. And I know Evolve VR very well. And I know that there are a lot of people on Evolve VR who have become best friends for 2-3 years, and they still have never met each other physically. But it's okay, because they have adapted this new reality into their lives. And the beauty about it, I'm not saying that is the only way to go about, but the beauty about all of this is that we have choice. We can meet up here and we can be best friends. We can go into a virtual bedroom and have sex if we want. We can also have the choice to meet up physically and start a relationship. So the fact that it's opened new opportunities to us, we have more leeway to understand and be empathetic towards the people who these opportunities mean a lot to them and have built amazing worlds and memories. These are memories that we are developing. This is time that you're spending looking at a screen, VR and computers. So yes, thank you very much for that beautiful story. We've got then Rochelle Eist D. Thank you all for being here, and welcome to the second Moral Dilemma. We will be hosting these again on Fridays. Feel free to join our VR Digital Citizens on Facebook group and Instagram. And thanks a lot for joining. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, guys.